Hi guys, welcome back. In the last video that I posted, I built the code to load the zombie swarm, and in this video what I'm going to do is change the atmosphere around this because this is running on camera motion mode. That means I can't use the mouse to move around it. I need to change it to probably object controls or first person controls. So basically when I refresh this, you see the camera moves automatically. You don't have to use your mouse. That's the zombie. So in the last video that I posted, I had a couple of these guys moving around the scene. So I'll pull this back in here, and I sort of backed up the old one, so I'll move it back to GS. And when we have a look at the scene now, this is what we expect. So it's so auto loaded. And what you realize that a couple of zombies will have been loaded somewhere. That's what I can actually look at the ground and see the ground, but it's just that the reflection is not going that far. But then here you see a couple of zombies I sort of created in the last video. I actually move with my mouse because it's a first person mode, controller mode. So I'll just refresh this, and then I'll start moving towards where. So when it breaks like that, it means that it's loading the zombies basically. So I'll just move and act like I'm following the zombies. They don't seem to be moving, but they're actually moving faster than my character. So I'm just going to walk around them. You can see it's as if I'm running with them basically. If you look at the ground, you see that I'm actually moving. But ultimately, they are faster than this character. So, and they eventually walk into a white area because they've come off the platform there. So I'll need to sort of create a real ground that you can walk on. But then the ultimate goal of this video is actually to create this sky. It gives you this almost real sky. It's not real because it's sky shader in Three.js. It gives you a procedural sky. Procedural means that you can change variables and set a new sky. I'll just refresh this. Takes us back to the stage, and you can see the ground. You can use the arrow to move around the scene while the zombies are now, they seem to be coming towards me basically. So I think the goal there is that you actually will be able to sort of program these characters to also chase or run away from them while they chase you ultimately. Now Sky.js file, which is on the dev, dev examples JSON object Sky. Now I have some of this in the GitHub folder, so you can access them there. Ideally, this Sky is supposed to come from the Three.js addon. So if you're using npm install, you're using node, strictly using the files themselves stored in the folder of the project. So, but ideally, if you did that, then you probably need to use this page. So I'll put a link to this page in the description. So this is how I'm doing this. So if you look at this, 3_dev goes down to examples GSM, examples GSM, objects, go down to objects, sky.js, sky.js. So that's how I'm referencing. So by doing that here, / means from the location of this file, it picks up that sky.js file. So I'm able to use this in the code. So if I copy that and I find out where it is in the code. So I've tried to import it here before. That didn't really work. So if I go further down, you see I have this generate sky, that background, and I uncomment this, it gives me the cube map. So if I go to generate sky, the code that actually generates this entire sky. So I import the scene, create a sky. I'm just going to remove that, create the sky, set the sky scalar to make the sky large enough to surround the scene. Doesn't have to be that large. You can always play with some of these values, and then you add the sky. So access the shader forms for the customization. So this is now where you set up the shaders of the sky. some of these values actually will affect how the sky looks like. We'll make a few changes here. We'll see what it looks like. Then set a vector for the position of the sky, of the sun in the sky. Update the position of the sun and the sky shader. So the sun is actually in the sky. Then set some ambient light, directional light. Set the shadow directional light. And this actually is the ground that's added, but I sort of commented out. So if you see what it looks like, so it creates this ground that I don't really want. What I could do is actually change the material of the ground to make it look like the other ground, but essentially it just makes it a bit easier to see these characters because they're not blending into the darkness. But I'll sort of kill that for now and go back to the code. So basically it's just a plain geometry with a lambda material and then position set, and then you see that it's a 20,000 wide ground. So I could simply set our own ground to be 20,000 as well. But it has to do with just the material. It's not a big deal, really. If I go back to the code that creates ground, generate environment, that's it. So our ground simply has a 300 by 300 size. If I make it 1000 and 1000, I think that should be fine for us. The other ground in the scene was 20,000. You see that it's a bit further into the distance, but you probably need to change material or something to make it a bit more reflective. And the characters are a bit hidden. So when we look at the scene while the code is on, what I intend to do is to sort of illustrate how changes to the parameters of the sky shader actually affects the sky. So those are the zombies. I'll just act like I'm walking through them. I've seen that before. So what I'll do is go into the code. So I'll just control click on that and then go into the sky texture values. So if I change this value to say 10, let's see what it looks like. Clear skies, low value, less haze. So that's the description there. Some of this stuff I got some clarity both from Three.js and ChatGPT. You can actually go to ChatGPT and get a few more details. Just describe style of sky you want, and ChatGPT will probably give you a copy of this particular the content in this function. So that's what it means when I make those changes. If I change this to 100, let's see what it does. It will be particularly, it looks actually more reasonable, seems like less shiny. It's just that the ground is not that clear. If a large part of the sky is very white, so I could put that at 0.1. Let's see what it looks like. It has a sort of glow green band that. I shall just undo all this to the last value started with, that was 2, and then we'll come here, change this to 0.1, so it looks like, and then it seems a bit clearer actually. So what will give it a much lower value, 0.001, and it goes quite dark actually, not very interesting. We give it 0.01, still not that great. I'll just undo that to the last value we start with, and on the make coefficient I'll put that at 0.5. let's see. It gives quite a nice sky as well. So what you probably want to do is sort of play with these values to get the right sky. Alternatively, you can also just tap on ChatGPT to give you a configuration that suits your type of sky. Wintry, cold sky. And even then the characters still have some sort of reflection. What if I went down? Because further down in this code, what you see is that you have the sky uniforms with some position. So ultimately you're putting the sun in position shader, and then you have the directional light, you have the ambient light, you have the directional. What if I give directional light a value of 3 opposed to 1.2, see whether you'll see the character. So we're seeing the ground a bit better now. and we'll probably see the characters even better as well. So if I scroll around just to see where the characters are, yeah, there they are. So now they look a bit more visible. So what if I give it a value of say 5, or let's go with 7? Our scene will probably be, yeah, it looks quite clearer now. You can see far into the horizon, and then our character should be very clear. Now you can actually see the ground properly, and here are the zombies. So I'll just refresh this to see we can catch them on closer. We just should be moving this direction. I should see them coming. Oops, we saw missed them, but then you can see how clear they are. Actually, the light seems to probably illuminate on them. So I think the value of direction light was quite instrumental to making this a bit clearer. Actually, so ultimately you can also go down here and make changes to this as much as you want. Let's put this at so 1.5. Let's see what it gives us. It ultimately determines the value of the sky, really. I'll just come back here and put a 6 on the directional light. So it's basically dark, really, for the value we have for this. So if I go with 0.1, so it's much darker. So the sunlight directionality, so I think that determines how much sun is directed at the scene. So if I come back here and I change this to 1.3, see how that does, and come back here and change this to 0.001, doesn't really help you as much actually. What if I go with the 10? So it seems more like the sun is directed elsewhere. So come back here and make changes as much as you want, and try to get the right sky you want. But ultimately what you could do is you could as well go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to get you the right sky that will suit your scene. Yeah, so we'll stop there today, and the next video all we'll probably do is start to bring in buildings and see how this sun reflection actually affects the view within the buildings. We'll also start to control this character with a class, so that makes it easy for us to now use our keyboard to control the character that moves around the scene, solving with first person or third person character mode. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.